TLO, what's poppin'? We are on Twitch. We're not live, but you can leave a like, comment, subscribe, turning your post notification bells. Let's continue to grow the family. From Chicago to the UK, man. Right behind me, you see it. Little warning screen. We will not need it. I just don't like to do my intro on the screen that I'm watching. Twitch.com or YouTube.com. That's where you can catch a live stream. Username's at the bottom of the screen. We also got Patreon. We post there 7 days a week. Premier League highlights, UK TV shows, UK movies. That is stuff we cannot post on YouTube. The reactions that you want to see or you asking me for that are on TV still, we got them. An entire Roman city is hidden beneath London. Walking tour. That's interesting. What is this, Gotham? Like, what's going on? Why would y'all do that? Why did they do that?
Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. No copyright infringement intended. All rights belong to their respective owners.
This is from Architects Digest?
London is actually two cities, one built on top of the other. Before there was London, there was Londinia, an outpost of the Roman Empire that...
Londinia. Okay, that makes sense. I've heard of Londinia.
Was founded right here in the heart of modern London, and it's from this ancient city, Londinium, that modern London takes its name and so much more. And there's still evidence of London's 2,000-year-old Roman origins all over the city, if you know where to look. I'm Nick Potts, I'm an architect, and today we're
Will Nick Potts take me? I would love for you to show me.
taking a walking tour of London's Roman origins. It's not just the name London that comes from ancient Rome. The layout of the city, even including the location of London Bridge, is directly connected from the original plan of Roman Londinia. And even today, pieces of the ancient city continue to be discovered, giving us more clarity about how the rise and the fall of ancient Londinium shaped and continues to shape the modern city of London. So, if all roads lead to Rome, let's start at the most important intersection of ancient Londinium. Right now, we're standing at the most important intersection of Roman Londinium, because underneath our feet is the starting point of every Roman city, the Roman Forum.
Is this AI?
As Rome expanded, every new city they built was designed as a grid, and at the center...
So it's like a city center. And just to be clear, Chicago is designed as a grid as well. I just wanted to throw that out there of my knowledge of my own city.
Forum. As Rome expanded, every new city they built was designed as a grid, and at the center of each grid was what's called the Forum. The Forum in a Roman city was both a marketplace for commerce, but also a marketplace of ideas. It was a place for politics, legal proceedings, and civic gatherings of all kinds. And in every Roman city, the Forum was located near the intersection of two major roads, which were called the Cardo and the Decumanus. The Cardo was the primary market street, and the Decumanus was the primary military street connecting the towns throughout the empire. And this
And it made a cross.
phrase, all roads lead to Rome, has something to do with that. As the empire was expanding, symbolically they wanted there to be a street that connected these provincial outposts and peripheral towns back to the heart of the empire.
That's just like downtown Chicago. I promise you, this is giving me the vibes. All the main streets like Western, Cicero, all the big ones, all of them, they lead right back to the city. They all intertwine. That's tough.
Empire, which was Rome. This is the intersection of Grace Church Street and Lombard Street, where it transitions to Fenchurch. And in Londinium, this is where the Roman Forum was. In a Roman outpost, the Decumanus was primarily east-west, and the Cardo was north-south. And if you look at the map of London today, you can still see this intersection of the Cardo essentially at Grace Church Street leading down to London Bridge, which was in the same location that London Bridge currently is, more or less. And in the case of Londinium, where the settlement was located directly north of the River Thames.
What do y'all think I should... I'm just looking at this layout of London. First of all, beautiful city. That's why it reminds me of so much of Chicago, because it's built on a grid just like us. It's like the same... Like, this is literally how downtown Chicago looks, with the water on both sides. The Chicago River runs down, and then you got... I think it's Wacker. And then you got on each side, there's, buildings. River North is on one side, then,
Thames and the important port.
What the hell is this?
Which is the reason why the Romans decided to put this place here. The Cardo was this crucial link between the river and all the trade that happened on it and the main marketplace. So the commerce in Roman Londinium ran north to south on the Cardo and various streets parallel to it. And as a city that's primarily a medieval settlement, or was, London has a fairly ad hoc, informal grid, but in this area in particular, you can see a ghost of the grid of Roman Londinium, which was torn down in 8450. It's fairly unique in the older parts of London to see this grid structure, and that's a direct ancestor of the Roman settlement that existed here before. And you can see a ghost of that today in the names of the streets that currently exist between...
This is how every street in Chicago looks, even the hoods. Everything is a grid. Everything.
In the Forum location.
Bunch of one-way streets. No U-turns, none of that. Just straight gritty.
And the River Thames. You see Pudding, which talked about meat trade. You see Fish Hill that talked about the movement of fish up and down. And even though these uses came back in the medieval city after Londinium was abandoned, it almost came back from the dead when the site was resettled. In fact, the Romans were the ones to first build a bridge across the Thames. And the location of that bridge currently can be seen in the street grid next to it. This original bridge would have been located parallel to where today's London Bridge is, and directly in alignment with the Cardo and connected to the Forum. But we don't need to look at the map to figure out where the Roman Forum would have been located in Londinium. Because in 2025, archaeologists drilled a massive hole into the floor of an office building and uncovered the foundations of the most important building in Roman Londinium.
Wait, so it's literally on top? How do people even build stuff on top? Like, where do we find the ground? Wouldn't it be like not structural? Or how did that? All right.
Behind me is Leadenhall Market, one of London's most historic markets, and also the site of some of London's most newly rediscovered ruins. What was recently found underneath this building actually reconfirmed the location of Roman London's most important building, the Basilica. We're just down the street here from the center of the Forum, on nearly the exact site of the original Roman Basilica. In a Roman city, the Basilica was always located on one end of the Forum, and was a space used for political, economic, and administrative purposes, such as court proceedings. Leadenhall Market has existed in this location since roughly the 1300s, but the current structure was built in the late 1800s, designed by Horace Jones. And the building...
I got 7 days out here, and the more stuff that I find out, I don't know why I'm finding out so much stuff all of a sudden now that I'm going right now, but I feel like, am I going to have enough time?
that he designed in the 19th century is strikingly similar to the Roman building that existed here nearly 2,000 years ago. The word basilica brings to mind a religious building, a Christian church, and that's no accident. A lot of early Christian churches...
Basilica is actually derived from the Latin word bicycle, which means two parts.
Took over the sites of Roman basilicas and their plan, which was a large central nave and side aisles.
See what I'm saying? Like a bicycle. Large center with two wheels. I'm trying to tell y'all. Y'all don't listen to me. Y'all think I'm joking. Y'all think, oh, ignorant American. I'm here with it.
And the formerly secular kind of multi-purpose use of a Roman basilica was co-opted by a Christian typology. However, the mall or the market took on a similar sort of name. And so it's an interesting irony that the Leadenhall Market essentially co-opted the basilica plan with the large vaulted central nave and its side aisles for the markets and shops, which is an almost reappropriation of this Roman space plan. And it's an amazing coincidence that this building type, this market, that's co-opted the type form of a Roman basilica, was reconstructed in the 19th century.
I'm not gonna lie, whatever this building looks amazing. The architectural brick structure of it is just amazing. If I could just build the entrance to my house like this, I'd be good.
Directly over and in alignment with the original Roman basilica. And this was done without the architect likely knowing about the location or frankly the shape of the original Roman basilica. And while the basilica is the most recent rediscovery in Roman London, it's far from the only one. This site was carefully uncovered by archaeologists.
Is it like buried in dirt, or is it like is there like an entrance underground somewhere that we could find possibly, and we could just walk through the ruins?
During the construction of a building next door. But many of the ruins of Roman London would have never been discovered had it not been for the bombings during the Blitz of World War II. We're standing in the Barbican Center, and the round tower you can see behind me was quite possibly the oldest piece of Roman construction within Londinium. The Barbican is a brutalist building complex that helped to inject modern architecture into the fabric of historic London. During the Blitz of World War II, this area,
Not gonna lie, that looks like a council flat.
was heavily bombed, and while the entire city that had been built up over the several thousand years was largely destroyed, what was revealed was a lot of Roman foundations and the basis for the original city. Before Roman Londinium, there was just a fort on this location, and the location marked by that tower, even though the tower has been built up on and modified over the years, is the location of the northernmost corner of that fort. This was far from the only place that was bombed during the Blitz, and throughout the historic core of London, there were little bits and pieces that were discovered as almost treasures that emerged despite all of the trauma of the bombing. Parts of a fresco were discovered underneath Lime Street, the foundations of a massive building under the Cannon Street station, and the Temple of Mithras, which is currently on exhibition under the new Bloomberg headquarters.
Okay, nah, see, this is a vibe.
And similar to what was done with the Mithraeum, where it was really showcased as part of the new building, the Barbican takes that to an extreme and creates an entire landscape built around the fragments of its Roman past. And this is really the story of London, and you can see this all along the former Roman wall, these different layers, the Roman layer of wall, the medieval constructions both on top of and incorporating the wall, and new buildings popping up usually around it rather than on top of it, showcasing it. So if you look around us in these very kind of openly modernist buildings, there are bits of the language of the Roman
So this not a council flat? Just a nice one?
architecture that originally happened here. You see brick, you see arches, and they're reinterpreted in a very kind of contemporary, almost inverted way. You see these fragments of almost like a Roman concrete. So these buildings are riffing on the language of Roman architecture without explicitly copying it. And this is really what modernism of this period was trying to do. It was trying to monumentalize the past and
Just get to uncovering all of it. I mean, I'm pretty sure other structures are built over stuff, but still, it's very interesting how this is done.
create a new language that was fitting for modern times, as opposed to previous neoclassical revivals that were explicitly copying and mimicking the Romans. The Barbican is a very modern mixed-use complex with schools, with housing, an art center, public space, an old church, and there's a very kind of modernist urban planning sort of vision for rebuilding the city that its architects, Chamberlain, Powell, and Bond, utilized to its utmost. And this is really a unique space in London, primarily because of the Blitz. The city had an opportunity to build something really at the scale of large modernist urban planning. And the trauma of the war created in its horrific aftermath.
Yeah, I bet you this is expensive too. This ain't nothing but a project building. Just in a nice area. This is supposed to be affordable housing, but it's just in the center of London.
An opportunity for London to experiment a bit with 20th century urban planning ideals, and the Barbican represents this in both its program, its style, and its form. This is just a small piece of London and its Roman origins. Let us know what other cities we should explore.
We'll explore all of them, sir, so I can find some more knowledge to implement into my everyday American life about London.